Hello, this is Bullet with yet another video few will ever see. In today's video, I wanted to share some final thoughts on the Destiny 2 beta. I want to start right up front by saying that I believe there's a lot of potential here, and overall, I had a great time this week playing it. At first, I was extremely disappointed in what was released as a beta, because this wasn't a true beta. This wasn't much more than a teaser trailer, and quite frankly, it was a poor teaser trailer. Once again, Bungie favored community players over solo players by not allowing solo players a chance to explore anything. If you were with a group of 3 players, you could gleefully load up the strike and then just explore all you wanted. If you were a solo player like me, you load into strike and you are given 2 randoms. Sometimes at least one of those randoms went off exploring, leaving me and the other random to complete the strike on our own. However, I did get a chance to do some exploring a few times. I had a great time checking things out, but I was disappointed there wasn't much to do. There was at least one possible public event type thing I saw, but with no rewards given, it was hard to tell. I will say that the more I explored, the more I really began to see the potential here. Over this past week, I started to see past the disappointment. I spent hours running the strike, and I spent hours playing Control. I completely see what Bungie was getting at with the 4v4 Crucible setup. I still think it's a bad decision to have only 4v4, but when all the players on each team actually played, it made for some fun gaming. I had a lot of good times this week playing in the Crucible. I do have some suggestions for it. First is the 4v4 concept. The whole concept sets the Crucible up for failure. Let me explain why I feel this way and how I think maybe it could be changed to better fill the needs of more gamers. Bungie has said many times that they favor the community ideal. So limiting the Crucible to just 4 players on each team really limits how many friends you can play with. Also, I played dozens of matches this week with players leaving mid-game. We started off 4v4, but a lot of games ended up being 4v2. And this is a problem. There are people that rage quit. There's people with bad internet connections that get disconnected. There are those that just get bored and will leave the game to go do something else. All of this can ruin a match if you're a real gamer. And I don't mean a professional gamer. I just mean someone that doesn't quit, that plays and wants to win. This 4v4 is going to be a nightmare because there is no room for error built into it. I will admit, when all the players on each team stay and play, it runs wonderfully smooth. And there's every bit as much action as there was in the 6 versus 6 model. My suggestion, Bungie should consider making various options. 4v4 for the serious gamer, 6 versus 6 and 9 versus 9 for those of us that have a lot of friends, or just like bigger and longer matches. I'm still waiting for something like 6 versus 6 versus 6. I think that option would be wild. As for the control screen area, I still think it's too cluttered. After playing for a week, I still don't know what half that stuff is on top. But to be honest, after a while, I became used to being able to look up and quickly see what the score was. My only suggestion here, maybe make the top bar a little smaller. I don't have any suggestions for the other Crucible game they offered. I played it several times, and each time I just found it to be tiresome and uninteresting. I can see how some might like it, but I just didn't have the desire to play it. Would have been nice to have Clash in there. That's the main game. It's the game people play the most. And it would have been a real test of how the 4v4 is actually going to play out. In Control, and that Defuse the Bomb game, the 4v4 felt okay. I didn't overtly miss having more enemies to shoot at because there's the distraction of having to control the zones or the bombs. In Clash, it's truly player versus player. No distractions, kill or be killed. I am skeptical as to how that's going to play out in Destiny 2, but I look forward to giving it a try. Now it's time to move on to what I care most about in Destiny, the PvE portion of the game. It was disappointing that we only got one strike to look at this week, and no real options to explore. And even when we took the time to explore, there really wasn't anything to see or do. There was no loot to find and nothing to win. It would have been nice if they hid an exotic or two somewhere. How fun would that have made this beta release? But no, Bungie gave us a less than vanilla beta. Again, I wasn't happy with this strike at first. I found it too tedious, giving the boss fight 3 levels and then starting us over at the very first level if we all died was a little overwhelming and completely discouraging. I have tons of gameplay that show player after player quitting the strike after being sent back to the beginning of the boss fight. Some would give it a go a second time, but if we all died a third time, they started to drop like flies. However, this strike grew on me. It took a while, but I began to have some fun with it. I only wish I could have convinced my friends to give it another try. My friend Medium just wanted nothing more to do with it. He was so disappointed in this beta release, he didn't even want to go back and play the original Destiny. The sad thing about that is, he's the one that got me into playing Destiny in the first place. I'm only playing this game because he got me hooked on it. For him to be that discouraged by what he saw in the beta, I think says a lot. But here's the thing. This strike doesn't have to be so tedious. There are shortcuts. There are fights that you can completely run past. You can skip most of this strike and get to the boss fight. My fastest time playing with randoms was under 16 minutes. It would have been faster, but I kept having to wait for them to catch up. I so wanted to try and do some speed runs and experiment with the boss fight. Even being stuck with randoms, I have already found a great cheese spot for the boss fight, and an even better cheese spot for that circle room with all the machete-armed cabal and war beasts coming at you. In this video, I got to spend most of the time soloing it because the 2 people that were in the strike with me were somewhere else doing something else. I can't wait to see what else can be learned from this strike and all the others to come. Then there's the new social space, the farm. From the previews, I didn't think I was going to like it. It looked like some hippie commune and it was just completely uninteresting to me. But they gave us the chance to go and see it the other day, and I loved it. It was night, it was peaceful, and it was beautiful. I tried to walk around and explore. Not much to do there in the beta, but it looks like this place is going to have all kinds of things to see and do. I am really excited to see it in all its glory when Destiny 2 is released. In conclusion, I have to admit that I'm far more excited to see what I haven't than what I have. The beta for me was somewhat of a disappointment. I am more of a solo player. I have 2 friends that play Destiny. I have anxiety issues that make it real difficult to meet new players. And add to that, I'm not the most likable person. It's just better that I'm more of a loner. So this beta didn't offer players like me that much. It promises lots of great things to come, but not much of that was available in the beta for players like us. I wouldn't go as far as to call this beta release a failure. I like the way the subclasses feel and play. I just wish I could have used them more. I never really got to experiment much with them because they take so long to regenerate. There were times while playing in the Crucible I would get a super with a couple of minutes left of gameplay, and that was fun. Most of the time I got my super as the game was ending with no time to use it. And that's just pointless. Destiny is a fantasy game. It's about our abilities and how we use them. Limiting them in the Crucible turns the Crucible into Call of Duty. And if I wanted to play Call of Duty, I'd play Call of Duty. Trying to force everyone into this limited abilities thing for the Crucible takes away the fantasy portion of Destiny. And once you do that, you might as well go play all the other first-person shooters. But give us the options to play with limited or no abilities, and that sets Destiny apart. And one last note. This is about the new character, Failsafe. Bungie, you've already stolen Captain America's shield. Now it appears that you're blatantly ripping off Borderlands Talking Trash Can. I played Borderlands once for about 3 hours with a friend. I hated every minute of it. That talking trash can was like nails on the chalkboard to me. Failsafe has a similar quality. If I have to listen to that stupid thing for the next 3 years, well, a better way to say it is, I'm not going to be listening to that thing for the next 3 years. At least not as it is. I saw somewhere that there's going to be a mission or a side story that gives us the history of Failsafe. Maybe there'll be something in that story that makes this annoying character likable. But for now, the character comes off as a slightly less annoying version of the talking trash can from Borderlands. I'm still very excited for the release of Destiny 2, but I'm excited for it from what I've heard, not from what I've seen in the beta. At best, the beta showed some potential, if you looked really hard for it. I've seen a lot of people say some really great things about the Destiny 2 beta, but just about all of those people make their money off of Destiny. Their gamer channels are all Destiny stuff. They're just not likely to come out and say too many negative things about the game. If I were the people at Bungie, I would be paying close attention to the people that aren't happy with what they saw in the beta. I'm not trying to suggest that everyone making money off Destiny with their gamer channel is lying. What I'm saying is that as a matter of fact, you need unbiased opinions in order to make a rational decision. I hope that Bungie listens to those of us that were disappointed with some aspects of the beta. I watched a video by Ms. 5000 Watts, and she had some very constructive criticism of the game. She said a lot of nice things, but also offered up some suggestions. I was so impressed with her video that it completely changed the way I made this video today. If you sat through my first impressions video of Destiny 2 beta, I ran it a lot. I screamed and used a whole lot of foul language. Because I love the game of Destiny. I was promised certain things in Destiny 2, and the beta showed almost none of that. I was furious and disappointed beyond the ability for rational discussion. Ms. 5000 Watts video made a good point, and one that I took personally, and that is to explain what it is about the beta that we didn't like, to offer up constructive criticisms. That, more than anything, inspired the way I wanted to create this video. No foul-mouthed ranting today, just my sincerest thoughts about the beta and what I hope to see changed in the actual game. As usual, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and subscribing to my channel. I even have a Twitter thing. You can find the link below in the description. Thanks. Have a great day.